The courtroom in Port Charles was unusually quiet that day. No whispers, no sudden movements. Even the air felt heavy, as if everyone present sensed that something irreversible was about to happen. All eyes were fixed on one small figure seated near the witness stand, Scout. She looked calm on the outside, but inside her heart was racing. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. Weeks of confusion, secrets, and half-truths had led to this single testimony. The truth was no longer something she could hide behind silence. The judge nodded gently, giving Scout permission to speak. At first, her voice was soft, almost hesitant. She spoke about the night that changed everything, the chaos, the fear, and the moment when Port Charles was shaken to its core. She didn't describe violence. She didn't need to. Everyone in the room already knew how serious that night had been. Scout paused, glancing briefly toward the gallery. Familiar faces stared back at her, some hopeful, some terrified of what she might say next. She took a breath and continued. She explained that for a long time she had been confused about what she saw. Adults around her kept telling her she must be mistaken, that stress can distort memory, that it was better not to talk about it at all. But the truth had never left her. It followed her into her dreams. It echoed in her mind every time someone mentioned the case, and eventually it became impossible to ignore. Scout told the court that she clearly remembered who was present that night. Not just a shadow, not just a voice, a person she recognized. A gasp rippled through the courtroom. Her words were careful but firm. She explained how that person had tried to appear calm afterward, how they avoided eye contact, how they acted as if nothing had happened. But Scout noticed the small details, details only someone who was there could know. The prosecutor leaned forward, sensing the turning point. When asked why she waited so long to speak, Scout's answer silenced the room. She said she was scared. Not just scared of what people would think, but scared of what would happen to her family if she told the truth. She believed staying quiet would keep everyone safe. But instead, the silence only made things worse. The defense attempted to challenge her credibility, suggesting confusion, outside influence, or pressure. Scout listened calmly. Then she shook her head. "No one told me what to say," she stated clearly. "I'm saying it because it's the truth." That was the moment everything shifted. In the gallery, reactions exploded, shock, disbelief, and quiet realization spreading from row to row. One individual froze completely, their face draining of color as Scout's words painted an unmistakable picture. The judge called for order, but the damage was done. Scout didn't point fingers aggressively. She didn't accuse with anger. She simply told what she knew step by step until the identity of the person responsible became impossible to deny. For the first time since the incident, clarity replaced chaos. Outside the courtroom, reporters scrambled to keep up as news spread like wildfire. Port Charles was buzzing. People who had defended the suspect began questioning everything. Others felt guilt for doubting Scout in the first place. Inside, emotions ran high. A loved one of the accused broke down quietly. Another person stormed out, unable to face the reality that had just been revealed. Long-standing alliances cracked under the weight of the truth. Scout was excused from the stand, but her impact lingered. As she walked past the gallery, several people stood in silent respect. She had done what many adults couldn't. She chose honesty over fear. Later, in a quiet hallway, Scout was reunited with her family. There were no dramatic speeches, just relief, tears, and the understanding that telling the truth, no matter how painful, was the right thing to do.
Meanwhile, investigators reopened critical details of the case, now armed with information that had been missing all along. Timelines were adjusted, motives re-examined. What once seemed unsolvable was now clear. Port Charles would never be the same. Trust had been broken, secrets had surfaced, and reputations were forever altered. But amid the fallout, one thing stood strong: Scout's courage. In the days that followed, conversations echoed throughout the town. People spoke about responsibility, about listening, about how easily the truth can be overlooked when it comes from someone young. Scout became a symbol, not of tragedy, but of bravery. The courtroom may have been where the truth was spoken, but its effects reached far beyond those walls. Relationships were redefined, justice took a new direction, and a community learned that silence can be just as powerful as words until someone finally chooses to speak. And when Scout did, everything changed.